on in.
I usually know where he is, but I don't know what hole he's on right now. So that's.
Hey, Dirato, you played more golf probably in the last 2 weeks than I've played in 5 years. So I don't want to hear it.
Well, that might be true, but I never let the facts get in the way of a good story. That's my theory right there. Hey, I'm glad you're joining us. We got all kinds of things to cover, and we've kicked this around. It's so new to everybody, but do you think we'd ever see the day, as long as you've been in the college basketball business as a player, coach, head coach, that we'd ever be talking about at this time of the year? There's no NCAA tournament, nothing.
No. I mean, even a month ago, because I think that kind of somebody raised that question: should we play the NCAA tournament? And we were like, "There's no way they're going to cancel the NCAA tournament. There's no way." And obviously, as it got worse and we got into Kansas City, I was all dressed that Thursday morning to go scout Texas versus Texas Tech, and in fact, Sean's wife Trina called my wife Kim and said they just canceled the tournament, and there was a little bit of speculation that may happen, but I think that once that happened, I think everybody realized that this thing probably can't go on. And now looking back, they made a good decision. Although at the time I thought it was a little bit premature, but obviously they knew a lot more about it than I did.
As you look at the way things have evolved now, and they continue to evolve, obviously, and I think that the 30th is when maybe the final edict is going to come down from the NCAA about winter sports. As a coaching staff, I mean, do you holding out much hope that can happen? Do you know if the seniors who have the opportunity on this squad to come back, are they holding out any kind of hope?
I think when it first happened and that got thrown around, there was some momentum to allow these seniors to come back, because it was just obviously an awful way to end their careers. And you take our seniors; they've been through so much.
Yeah.
I think Thomas said, "Man, they need to do a 30 for 30 on our careers," and he's right. They've gone through so much, but. I thought early maybe there would be a chance, and then you start looking into it a little bit deeper. And I mean, some programs have no seniors. In our case, we have 4 scholarship seniors. I mean, a lot of schools, their seasons were over. Guys had finished their careers, so I just think it may be very difficult for them to do that. I hope they do. I think those kids deserve a chance. If they want to come back, I think you'd probably see a lot of seniors, especially the ones that have a chance to go on and make money, probably would not come back. But, for guys that feel like their careers ended, then give them a chance to end their careers the right way, I think it would be terrific. But I don't think we're really holding our breath for it.
You and I were discussing this very fact the other day, and assuming, just using Oklahoma State is the only thing we could look at right now, but you brought up the fact, if everybody came back, took advantage of the option, if it was the option, now you might have a roster of 17 guys, which I don't think is a very workable number to coach every year. But a Texas, they would have the same number, the requisite number, because they didn't have any seniors. I mean, that would create an imbalance just in that case, just in that example.
No question, and that's why I think the NCAA will have to look at that, and even I guess that goes into spring sports, and I think spring sports definitely should be able to, and I think they will be granted the next year. But I guess that's the case with some spring sports. Some teams may not have had any seniors, and what are they going to do? They've got to continue to recruit and have the opportunity to recruit kids to come in this year or come in next year for them. So. A lot of questions, definitely a lot of questions, and but I do think for the spring sports to have their seasons canceled, some cases, just after it got going, those seniors deserve to come back and have a senior season.
You may or may not want to get into this and betray a confidence, but at the same time, did you get any initial feedback from our seniors who could come back when this was out? Did you get any feel one way or the other that, yeah, I'd like to take advantage of it if it's there, or no, I want to get on with my life?
There wasn't any no's, for sure. I think there was just still a lot of uncertainty. I think they all were intrigued, for sure. Why wouldn't you be? Mm-hmm. I know a couple of those guys have a chance to go on and make some money. Maybe all of them. Although with this coronavirus, who knows what the the foreign market is for basketball is going to be come
Mm-hmm.
next year. I don't think there'll be a lot of people leaving the States to go play basketball in August or September. So who knows? That would have come into play. So, but yeah, I think they all were intrigued by it for sure.
As we look at the way this, again, continues to develop, and we were talking before you came on, because of the virus and because of the uncertainty as to what schools are going to do as we speak right now, the portal, has it increased any? I mean, you guys continue to look at the portal. Do you see more names in there, less, or about the same?
I don't know the numbers, but it seems like it's pretty hot. Mm-hmm. And in some cases, I'm like, these kids are taking a pretty good gamble to leave, unless you're a hot commodity. And in some cases, there's a lot of good players that put their names in there, but there's some that that played maybe 15 games and averaged 2 points and 1 rebound, and in the cases right now, it's going to be hard for some guys to find homes. I really believe that, and especially with the restrictions that we have in recruiting right now, where we can't bring in guys, you can't leave campus. You have to do everything basically by phone or by film, and but there sure seems like there's still a lot of good names in that in the portal. And I saw a funny tweet. By a friend of mine in the coaching profession, he put out there, and he said, "Man, I've spent so much time at home. My wife put her name in the portal."
You sure that wasn't you?
I feel like my wife may be thinking that too.
I was going to say, I mean, I could see where Kim would do that. I mean,
either I have to get a whole lot better becoming a handyman, or she may be in the portal next week.
That's pretty clever. I guess you can make light of whatever is going on, but it has cut into your routine for sure. You're burning up the phone lines. But we talk, what does this do to the AAU showcases, the high school showcases that you guys usually frequent during the summer months?
Well, we normally, from March is a pretty big recruiting time, and then April, besides the Final Four, which is the dead period typically that weekend, April has 2 live events where we get to go out and evaluate the best AAU programs in the country, and Nike and Adidas and Under Armour all put on really good events across the country, and you get a chance to see a ton of sophomores and juniors, and obviously that's already been canceled. And I'll be surprised if they hold the event.
I barely hear you. I don't know if we're losing you or you're losing us. Are you still there?
I hear you. You hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess you have to be creative. And how do you keep in contact with the players? I know some of the players are still here, have come back, even though school, quote unquote, is in session, but it really isn't as far as classrooms are concerned. How do you stay in shape, in contact with these guys? And how do you say, look, are you staying in shape the way we want you to?
Well, I know Jake, our strength coach, sent out some home workouts. You could do some body weight stuff, and then we kind of had a Skype video with all our players Monday morning. I thought it was really good to be able to touch base with everybody and get to see their faces, and had some good laughs. And so yeah, we're definitely staying in contact with them. Like you said, a few of them are here for different reasons, whether a couple of guys just had surgeries. Hitty, for example, had it's hard for him to get home, mm-hmm. and if he did go home, when could he come back? So he stayed here, and I think there's probably a lot of international athletes that are still on campus, if not all of them. But yeah, we're definitely the hardest thing is just for these guys to be able to do what they love, and that's to work out and play basketball. And Gallagher's basically shut down, the weight room's shut down, and so they're going to have to get creative and trying to work on the games.
Do you worry about the guys who are off campus? I mean, not knowing the high school situations in other states and all that, but those courts may not be readily available now either.
Well, I think that's the case anywhere and everywhere, and hopefully this doesn't last as long as people think it might, and we can get them back on campus. We're hopefully get them back in June, and if we're able to do that, then we feel good about getting these guys ready for next year. But if this thing pushes back to August, then obviously that's concerning, and they're going to have to do some things on their own while they're at home to stay in shape, try to get stronger. Guys that have worked really hard. You talk about the Boone brothers and Avery, putting on 20, 25 pounds since they got here. If they're not really disciplined, you could see them dropping some weight, and that would just, those guys needed a huge spring and summer on and off the floor and in the weight room to be able to really take a big step for us next year. So, that's definitely concerning.
Last thing, and it inevitably gets around to this, and I'm assuming they're going to announce the Hall of Fame, even though we don't have a Final Four, but it was going to be in connection, early April? Maybe the date. I don't know.
It'll be this weekend.
Oh, it's this weekend. Okay.
Yep.
And it's an obvious question, but the Sutton family expecting yes, maybe no. What's going to go on this year?
Who knows? Obviously, very hopeful. It seems like every year, although last year I was really positive that that was going to be the year. Seems like even more, guys stepping up and expressing their opinions that he deserves to be in. Guys across the college basketball landscape, but you never know. That's why I'm not getting my hopes up. If obviously it happens, we'll be elated, but I've said this last year that he's a Hall of Famer. In my book, he is. Talk to the guys that he coached, the impact he had on people's lives. His resume, he deserves to be in. And if 24 people that they get to vote on this don't agree, then that's their problem.
As you look at it, and let's look at it positively, that he's going to get in this year. As a family, you had plans last year, right, to go to the Final Four and accept this and that. Those plans still in place, you think, or it depends on your dad's overall health?
Yeah, I think if he's like he is now, I think we'll be able to take him to the Hall of Fame. And typically, the Hall of Fame weekend is the inductions are end of August, early September, up in Massachusetts at the Basketball Hall of Fame. And, again, that's one of those deals where are they going to have that this year? Are they going to push that back to a later date? So that's still up in the air. But if he stays in the type of condition he is right now, I think we'll definitely try to make it work.
Hey, I always appreciate your time. I know you had to let about a couple of twosomes play through while you were talking to me here, but they appreciated it, I'm sure. And now, but you got plenty of Dave Light to finish up, so I'm not feeling real sorry for you. Yeah, but are you hitting him straight today or not?
Don't even start. All right? I appreciate you guys having me on.
Hey, you always do. I know that because you couldn't wait for me to get the golf thing out there as well. But hey, stay out of the house, stay out of the bad graces of the missus if you can. And
yeah, I'm trying to stay busy. I'm trying to come up with excuses why I have to leave the house.
Like talking on the radio. I just gave you about 20 minutes. So
anytime. I can be on every day if you want.
I know you could. We could have the Scott Sutton show probably. Hey, I appreciate it, man. I'll see you here soon.
TD.
Okay, bud.